Hey there, this is Dana from danaarcuri.com, and about a month ago I came upon a YouTube video from TEDx Talks, and they have so many great subjects and discussions and just brilliance within each of these videos, and I really enjoy them. But there was one that caught my attention, and it really was life-changing for me. Maybe it could be life-changing for you. It was called The Gentle Power of a Highly Sensitive Person. And so it intrigued me enough to click on the button and watch it. And a woman named, let me try to get her name straight, Alina Herdekerhoff, excuse me if I'm wrong. Nevertheless, this woman gave this unbelievable topic on highly sensitive people, in which I sat back and it was like, she's talking about me. Everything she said, I'm like, yes, that's me. And I didn't even know that this is something scientific, medical evidence. I didn't know that a highly sensitive person is actually like the real deal, like it exists today. So it has been quite a journey this past month, and I wanted to just talk about it a little bit and to see if you are, possibly your partner, your children, or yourself could be a highly sensitive person. And so this whole thing with the topic on highly sensitive people goes back to 1991. So, I mean, we're heading into like 26 years of really amazing scientific evidence where they used MRIs of the brain, and they were checking people who are just ordinary people who don't have highly sensitivities and people who do have high sensitivity. So they have this comparison, and they could see in an MRI that it is like the real deal. Like there is scientific evidence to prove that there really is 15 to 20% of our population that's highly sensitive. So Dr. Elaine Aron, who is the pioneer and clinical psychologist of highly sensitive people. She is also an author who wrote a book. She has a website. Check it out. Look for The Highly Sensitive Person. And she gets into even like love relationships. So that is like totally awesome because, hey, in real life, we really do want to be like connected up with the right person who we can really have a balance with each other. And nevertheless, let's move forward on the highly sensitive person. So this is a situation where people who are highly sensitive have a heightened awareness, almost like they're intuitive. They could walk into a room, like say you go to a social function and you walk into a room. The person who is highly sensitive can almost feel the energy within this room, as in they know before they're even told, before they even talk to the person who is stressing out in the corner of the room, or maybe the person who's like super angry and having a bad day, or maybe they just lost a loved one and they're like internally grieving but not outwardly talking about it. The person who is highly sensitive already can sense this. So they already have this like heightened awareness within them that they can feel the emotions of other people. So they go into this room or this function, a gathering, maybe it's family, maybe it's friends, or maybe it's strangers. And they already know like what's going on. They know like who's at peace and who's calm and who is struggling with something like heavy duty. And so I know even myself, there are times where I'm around people, and whether I know them or I don't know them, that I can sense what's going on with them. I could sense if they're angry, if they're happy, if they're mad, if they're stressed out, if they're at peace. I could sense within my own being what's going on with them. And in all honesty, people who are maybe a little bit edgy, maybe angry, maybe they're having a really, crappy day, I feel like I'm taking on this heaviness, like this burden, in which I need to separate myself, where I can only be around them for so long, and then it's like, okay, I need to like take a time out away from this person. They are toxic, or they are just like over the top, and I am sensitive to the point where it could burden me, it could weigh me down. I feel like I'm taking their heaviness onto my own shoulders. And so perhaps you relate to this, perhaps you have experienced this yourself. Maybe you never even understood like what it is. Maybe you're like me and you didn't even know that 15 to 20% of our population is highly sensitive. Let's go on with other things. Okay, I've been in the beauty industry like close to 30 years, and I used to work at Sephora. And while I love this job, it was awesome. I'm a licensed makeup artist and an esthetician, and it totally was an alignment with my special strengths and gifts, and that I just love the beauty industry. I have to be honest, when I was working around the fragrance, it drove me nuts. You know, these pungent aromas, while there's some fragrances that were like soothing and so pretty and gentle and soft, and I loved them, there were so many fragrances that were overwhelming. I would get a migraine. I felt so sensitive to it. And then like this whole time I'm like making excuses and feeling bad and apologizing to my boss that I can't be placed next to this whole fragrance section. Hello, put me over with, you know, the makeup, put me in cosmetics, or put me in the organic skincare, because I couldn't stand those awful aromas. They were so strong that I really felt physically ill and nauseated, and I had a migraine. So that is something that the highly sensitive person, you know, one of their traits. And it's not just what we may smell, it's also like sights, sound. So meaning if you're around, say, something that's super noisy, heavy duty, like someone's jackhammering, there's construction down the road from you, or maybe someone's working on your home, maybe it's being remodeled, and there's like noise, just nonstop noise. And after a while, you could feel like sick from it. You could have a headache from it. You feel like you need to just escape this noise, and you need to go into your little sanctuary and shut the door. Maybe you need to be in the dark for a while and kind of like peace out, like calm your spirit and just kind of like ground yourself, because the outside world, these senses, you know, the sights and the sounds and the aromas and so forth, could be just too overstimulating. And so that's something I noticed. Another is that, let's see, here we go, is that there's things that were sensitive. And I knew this from a long time ago, but I never quite understood it until now. It's fabric. Do you ever have something like it's a little tag on the back of your shirt and it's itching you, and it's scratchy and it's itchy, or you're wearing fabric and you can't move, you can't breathe, it's just too tight or too suffocating or itchy. And there's certain materials and fabrics that you just have discovered you cannot buy and you cannot wear because it irritates you, and you find that the whole day that you're wearing it, you're so consumed and like scratching your back or trying to like adjust the shirt so the tag doesn't hit you in the certain spot that's driving you nuts. Yeah, that's real. So don't blame yourself. Just consider it. You are a highly stressful person, and just don't buy or wear that fabric again. Instead, you know, basically be true to yourself and honor that this is just who you are, that even if this is rare, which, hey, you know, it is more rare, but because it's 15 to 20% of the population that is highly sensitive, they have determined that it's not a disorder. Instead, it's the way we're wired. So for example, I'm just wired where I am an extrovert, and while many highly sensitive people are an introvert, they have still proven that extroverts can be highly sensitive. So for me, because I am more of a bubbly person, more outgoing, I am a people person. But because I'm a highly sensitive person, I can only be around people for a certain amount of time. I could only be in large groups or large gatherings, or even if I am just with one person and we're together for maybe 8 hours, and we're having fun and we can enjoy each other's company, and maybe we share the same interest, and it's just fantastic. But there comes a moment when all of a sudden I feel like I'm shutting down. I feel like suddenly I become quiet. I become introvert. I become just exhausted, fatigued, mentally burnt out, and I just need to be alone. And it's really interesting because my friends have noticed this. Like, friends and family have like called me on it, and they don't know that I'm a highly sensitive person, but they definitely have noticed that after a certain timeline, I can no longer be that bubbly, extrovert, outgoing people person, that all of a sudden I'm quiet and I'm not talking. And I can't even think of what to talk about. I feel like I really do shut down and I need to just be alone. And that's when I have to just, come to the understanding that this is how I was made, how I was created, that there's not a wrong or right, that both sensitive people and people maybe who aren't as highly sensitive are both perfectly fine, but it's this whole building awareness. It's this whole understanding ourselves and realizing that the highly sensitive person has gifts, that they're strengths, that we're empathic, we're passionate. We have this innate ability to tune in to those around us and really feel what they're feeling and become sensitive to them and their needs, where we could be compassionate, we could be encouraging, we could be there for them because we have that special gift. Also, other than that, let's see, we have the ability where we are detail oriented and we are so aware of our surroundings. And I think that a lot of us are artistic, whether we're writers, singers, whether we're musically inclined, whether we're, we love to paint or draw, play instruments. We express ourselves in the arts. And as an author and writer who is passionate, so passionate about writing books and about talking and about just helping people find their purpose in life and their special strengths and gifts, that this really does line up with who I am. And I'm thankful that I was able to discover this recently, because it really explains who I am, and it helps me to fully just embrace the good and the positive of it. And so today, consider checking out and taking the test to see if you are a highly sensitive person. I will leave the links down below. Feel free to like, to comment if you think you are highly sensitive. And if by any chance you have sensitivities to medications, share. If you feel highly sensitive to foods and to ingredients, I am like totally intolerant to gluten, to dairy. Oh, there's just way too many ingredients to list. And I'm like super sensitive to medication, which is a whole other topic. And I've shared like benzodiazepines, Cymbalta, Prozac, Adderall. Oh my gosh, Ativan. It's just horrendous what I've gone through. But now that I know that I'm highly sensitive and I could just really look at the good of it and draw in on the benefits of it, and then build this awareness that that's okay, because holistic alternatives are really in alignment with me. I am like so into natural alternatives and wellness and just being true to who I am to live a higher quality life. And so this is a good thing. And so it's a learning experience, and I'm growing personally and spiritually and even professionally. So please share, leave your comments if you're highly sensitive, and I will leave links so you could watch some other videos on it. Have an awesome day. Bye-bye.